Hello friends, welcome to the world of science fiction and forgotten words, Alien Universe. Don't forget to like, subscribe and never miss a new stories and movies from this channel. Thank you.
At 2:13 a.m., a silent light cut through the clouds above a small town that nobody ever visits. No thunder, no crash sound, just a white glow sliding down like a falling star that decided to land gently. Aiden Cross watched it from his bedroom window. He was 17. He worked nights at a gas station. He had one rule in life: never chase weird things. Weird things only bring trouble. But when the light stopped in the forest and the air turned cold like winter, his phone died in his hand. The screen went black. Then a new message appeared on the dead screen, letters burning faintly like embers. She has chosen. Aiden's breath froze. He didn't even understand what it meant, but his body moved anyway, like something was pulling him. Aiden grabbed his hoodie, slipped out quietly, and ran toward the trees behind his house. Every step felt wrong, like the night itself was watching him. The forest should have been loud. Frogs, crickets, wind. Instead, there was silence. Even the leaves stopped moving. He reached a clearing and saw it. A circle of grass had been pressed, flat as if a giant hand had pushed down. In the center, a smooth metallic object sat half buried in the soil. Not a spaceship like in movies. No windows, no doors, just a black oval with faint blue lines crawling over it like veins. Aiden took one step closer and the blue lines brightened, and then he heard it, a small sound, soft, like someone trying not to cry. He looked around the oval. When he saw her, a little girl, maybe 8 years old, small, pale, with silver hair that shimmered like moonlight. Her clothes were torn, like she had been running through thorns. She was holding her arm, like it hurt, but her eyes were not normal. They were deep violet, with tiny stars moving inside them like a slow galaxy. Aiden's throat went dry. Girl stared at him, like she had been waiting. Then she spoke in perfect English, calm and clear. "You came. Good." Aiden swallowed. Who are you?" The girl stepped forward, and the air around her looked like it was bending. "My name is Lyra." She lifted her chin like a royal. Then she said the words that would ruin Aiden's entire life. "I am a princess." Aiden almost laughed. A princess? Lyra blinked slowly, as if his disbelief was cute. Then she pointed at him. "I choose." "You?" Aiden frowned. "Choose me for what?" Lyra's face stayed serious. "For protection. For bond. For war." Aiden's stomach dropped. "War?" Lyra took a small step closer. "They are coming." And right then, the sky above the clearing shimmered like invisible glass trembling. Aiden looked up. For half a second, he thought he saw something massive hidden behind the clouds, something not made for Earth. Then it vanished. Lyra grabbed Aiden's hand. Her fingers were cold. "If you leave me here," she whispered, "you die first." Aiden's heart hammered. "What do you mean, die first?" Lyra's eyes flicked to the trees. "Because they will think you are mine." Aiden pulled his hand back. "Listen, I don't even know you." Lyra didn't argue. She simply reached into her pocket and pulled out a small object. Like a crystal coin, she placed it in Aiden's palm. The moment it touched him, Aiden's vision flashed white. He saw things that weren't his memories. A throne room floating in space. A woman screaming. A crown breaking. A red symbol burning. On a planet's surface. In a voice huge and cold, speaking like a judgment. "The princess has bonded. Begin the claim." Aiden stumbled back, gasping. Lyra watched him. "Now you understand a little," she said. Aiden stared at his hand. The crystal coin had melted into his skin like ink. Small mark formed on his palm. A symbol like a star split by a blade. Aiden panicked. "What did you do to me?" Lyra's voice stayed calm. I marked you as my guardian. Aiden shook his head. Remove it. Lyra looked genuinely confused. It cannot be removed. Aiden's blood went cold. Then the forest lit up. Not from the oval ship. From behind the trees. Aiden turned and saw 3 lights moving between the trunks, slow, searching, intelligent. Lyra's whisper cut through his panic. Hunters. Aiden backed away. Human hunters? Lyra's eyes hardened. Not human. The 3 lights came closer, and the air began to vibrate. Aiden felt it in his teeth. Aiden grabbed Lyra's wrist. Run. Lyra didn't resist. She moved with him, light on her feet. They sprinted through the trees as the lights followed. Aiden glanced back once. And regretted it, because one of the lights stepped into the moonbeam. It wasn't a flashlight. It was a floating sphere, metallic, covered in rotating rings. No face. No body. Just a machine that moved like it was alive. And it spoke. Not with sound. Inside Aiden's skull. Return the princess. The bond is illegal. Aiden screamed and almost fell. Lyra tightened her grip on him. Do not listen. Do not answer. If you answer, it tracks your thoughts. Aiden forced himself forward, lungs burning. They burst out of the forest near the road. Aiden didn't think. He ran straight to his house. He shoved Lyra inside through the back door and locked it. The lights stopped at the edge of the property, lined like they hit an invisible wall. Aiden watched through the window. Shaking. The spheres hovered there silent. Waiting. Lyra looked up at him. They will not attack yet. Aiden's voice cracked. Why not? Lyra said softly. Because they want you alive. Aiden swallowed. Why? Lyra stepped closer. Her eyes held galaxies. Because if you die, the bond collapses. And if the bond collapses... She paused. Aiden whispered, What happens? Lyra's face went very still. My enemies can legally start a war in your world. Aiden's whole body went numb. He stared at the small girl standing in his kitchen like she owned the air. Enemies? You said princess. Princess of what? Lyra took a breath, like she was about to say something too heavy for Earth. I am the last heir of the eclipsed throne. My family ruled 12 systems. Now my throne is broken. Aiden's mind spun. Why are they chasing you? Lyra walked to the window and looked out at the hovering spheres. Because if they capture me, the throne becomes theirs. Aiden whispered. And why did you choose me? Lyra turned slowly. Her voice was almost gentle. Because you were the only one nearby who would not sell me. Aiden blinked. Lyra added, and because you have a rare signal. Aiden frowned. Signal? 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 Lyra pointed at his chest. Your heart does not fear the unknown. Aiden almost laughed at that, because he was terrified. But then the lights outside shifted. All 3 spheres tilted toward the sky, like they were receiving a message. Lyra's eyes widened slightly. Aiden's stomach sank. What? Lyra whispered. They have informed the universe. Aiden's voice shook. Informed it of what? Lyra stared at him like the answer was obvious. That the princess has chosen. Outside, the clouds moved. And for the first time, Aiden saw it clearly. A shadow above the clouds, so large it made the moon look small. A ship. Not one ship. A fleet, hidden behind Earth's sky like a giant predator holding its breath. Aiden backed away from the window, whispering, No. Lyra's voice was quiet, but it hit like a knife. Now the war has permission. Morning came like a lie. Sunlight poured into Aiden's kitchen like everything was normal. But Aiden hadn't slept. Lyra sat at his table, eating toast like she had done it her whole life. Aiden stared at her, then at his palm. The mark was still there, The symbol felt warm now, almost alive. Aiden finally spoke. Okay, tell me the rules. What is this bond? Lyra wiped crumbs carefully, like a perfect little royal. A guardian bond is an ancient law, she said. A princess may choose one protector from a neutral world. Aiden blinked. Neutral world? You mean Earth? Lyra nodded. The bond grants you authority. It also makes you a legal obstacle. Aiden didn't like the word legal in something that sounded like aliens and war. What does the bond do to me? Lyra's face was serious again. It links your life to mine. Aiden's skin went cold. So if you die, Lyra nodded once. Your heart stops. Aiden stood up so fast the chair scraped. Nope, no, this is insane. I'm calling the police. Lyra didn't move. She only asked, very calmly, do your police fight fleets? Aiden opened his mouth. No words came out. Lyra leaned forward. Aiden Cross. He froze. How do you know my name? Lyra looked at his palm. The mark learns. You. Aiden swallowed hard. Then Lyra said, if you want to live, you must help me reach the signal tower. Aiden frowned. Signal tower? Lyra nodded. There is a place near your town. A tall metal tower. Aiden's mind clicked. The old radio tower on the hill. Nobody used it anymore. Lyra continued. I can send a message. To the last loyal fleet. Aiden stared. You have your own fleet. Lyra's eyes darkened. Not anymore. Aiden felt something heavy in his chest. Then who's chasing you? Lyra said. The Dominion. Aiden repeated it. Dominion. Lyra's voice tightened. They killed my father. They burned my home. They want the throne, and they want my blood. Aiden's throat tightened. You're a kid. Lyra's eyes flashed, suddenly older than 8. On my world, childhood ends early. Aiden looked away, struggling. Then the window behind Lyra cracked slightly. Just a hairline fracture. Aiden snapped his head up. Outside, a sphere hovered closer than before. It wasn't on the property line anymore. It was in the yard. Lyra stood instantly. They found the weak point. Aiden panicked. How? Lyra grabbed Aiden's hand and pressed her fingers to his mark. The symbol pulsed. Aiden felt a surge through his arm. Like electricity, but warmed out suddenly. The sphere outside stopped moving. Its rings froze mid-spin. Aiden stared. What did I just do? Lyra spoke fast. The mark gives you command over some machines. Only the low-level ones. Aiden's eyes widened. So I can control them? Lyra nodded once, but then she whispered, that is why they need you alive. Aiden stared at the frozen sphere. Then it spoke inside his mind again, weaker now. Guardian, you are unregistered. Submit your bond for verification. Aiden clutched his head. Make it stop. Lyra looked at him sharply. Do not speak back. If you respond, it confirms your location. Aiden forced his mouth shut. Lyra moved to the back door. We go now. Aiden hesitated. We can't just walk outside. Lyra reached into her torn sleeve and pulled out a thin silver band. She placed it around Aiden's wrist. It tightened gently, like it was alive. Aiden yanked. What is that? Lyra said. A veil. It bends attention. Humans will ignore us. Aiden stared. That's creepy. Lyra didn't smile. Better than being hunted. They stepped outside. Aiden's heart hammered as he walked past neighbors. A man was watering his lawn. He looked right at them, and his eyes slid away like his brain refused to register them. Aiden whispered, It works. They moved quickly. Toward the hill. Halfway there, Lyra suddenly stopped. Aiden turned. What? Lyra looked at the sky. Her face tightened. The Dominion fleet is lowering. Aiden followed her gaze. The clouds seemed thicker, but inside them, faint lines of light moved like giant shapes shifting. Aiden's knees almost buckled. Lyra whispered, "If they declare open war, your world becomes battlefield." Aiden's voice shook. "Then why did you choose Earth?" Lyra's answer was small and honest. "I didn't have time." They reached the radio tower. It was rusted, tall, surrounded by fences and warning signs. Aiden jumped the fence. Easily. Lyra moved like she didn't touch the ground. They reached the base. Lyra placed her palm on the metal. The tower, HUMMED. Aiden watched in disbelief as ancient rusted bolts began to glow. Then Lyra gasped, like she just felt pain. Aiden caught her. Lyra's eyes were wide. Someone already used this tower. Aiden frowned. Who? Lyra looked at him, voice sharp. Someone on Earth. Aiden's skin crawled. You're saying humans already contacted aliens? Lyra nodded slowly. Then she whispered the twist that changed everything. And they made a deal. Aiden's stomach dropped. A deal with who? Lyra stared at the sky. With the Dominion. Aiden's mind raced. Who on Earth would do that? Lyra grabbed the tower again, forcing energy through it. A holographic pattern lit up, symbols twisting, translating. Lyra squinted, reading it like a language she hated. Then she whispered, "Local authority." Aiden blinked. Local authority? You mean the government? Lyra nodded. Not your whole world. Just someone powerful here. They promised the Dominion something. Aiden's voice cracked. What could they possibly offer? Lyra's face turned grim. You. Aiden froze. Lyra looked at his palm. A guardian bond is valuable. They can study it, copy it, use it to control royal blood. Aiden backed away from the tower. That's insane. Lyra's voice rose slightly. Do you think the Dominion came for a child only? No. They came for a new weapon. Aiden's throat tightened. He suddenly realized something. Wait. If humans already made a deal, then a sharp, metallic scream cut through the air. Aiden turned. A black helicopter rose behind the trees, sweeping toward the tower. No markings. No lights. But it moved like it had permission. Lyra whispered, "They are here." Aiden grabbed her hand. Run. They sprinted around the tower base as the helicopter hovered above. A rope dropped. Two men slid down in black gear, visors reflecting the morning sun. Not police. Not military. Not something else. Aiden pulled Lyra behind. A concrete block. One of the men raised a device like a gun, but with a glowing ring at the front. He spoke, and Aiden heard it through the veil like it was in his bones. Target confirmed. Guardian present. Lyra's eyes narrowed. Human hunters. She whispered, disgusted. Aiden peeked and saw the other man holding a tablet on it. Aiden's face was highlighted in red. Aiden's blood went cold. They know who I am. Lyra nodded. The tower logged your bond. The man with the ring weapon fired. A silent pulse hit the concrete block and melted a perfect circle into it. Aiden's eyes widened. That's not human tech. Lyra hissed, Dominion gift. Aiden didn't think. He pressed his palm to the ground. The mark burned. Aiden didn't know what he was doing. He just wanted control. The helicopter above suddenly wobbled. Its engine sputtered. The rotor slowed. For half a second, the pilot fought it. Lyra stared at Aiden, surprised. You can reach machines farther than I thought. Aiden gasped, sweating. I'm not even trying. Lyra grabbed his wrist. Focus. Command it. Aiden stared up at the helicopter. In his head, he screamed. Stop. The helicopter froze in the air like time. Pause. And it dropped, not crashing, dropping like a puppet with cut strings. It slammed into the grass. Skidding. The men shouted. Aiden's knees buckled. Lyra pulled him up. Good. Now move. They sprinted downhill toward Town. Behind them. The men recovered fast. Aiden heard the ring weapon fire, again pulse shots ripping trees apart. Aiden and Lyra ducked into an abandoned shed near the road. Aiden slammed the door. His chest heaved. What do we do? Lyra stared at him, voice tight. We need a safe house. Aiden blinked. Safe house? I don't have... Lyra interrupted. You have one person. Aiden frowned. Who? Lyra said. Someone who trusts you completely. Aiden thought of only one. His older brother Mason. Mason was 24, a mechanic, and the only family Aiden had left. Aiden nodded. Okay, Mason's garage. They ran as they moved through the town. People kept ignoring them, thanks to the veil. But the black helicopter team didn't ignore anything. Aiden heard sirens that weren't police. He saw black SUVs moving the wrong way down streets. They reached Mason's garage, behind an auto shop. Aiden pounded the door. Mason opened it. Confused? Aiden? Dude, it's... Then he saw Lyra. His face shifted instantly. He grabbed Aiden and pulled him inside. What is that? Mason whispered harshly. Lyra stood still, watching him like she was measuring him. Aiden said fast, Mason, listen. Mason cut him off. No, you listen. Since yesterday, my phone has been buzzing with calls from a private number. They keep asking about you. Aiden froze. Mason continued. And an hour ago, a man came here. Suit, no badge. Too calm. He said, if I see you, I should call. Aiden's stomach turned. Lyra whispered, the traitor is close. Mason stared at Lyra. Who's the kid? Aiden took a breath. She's not from here. Mason laughed, once nervous and unbelieving. Then Lyra lifted her hand. A tiny shimmer floated from her fingers. A miniature starlight light, it spun in the air. Silent. Mason's laughter died. He backed up slowly. What the... Lyra's voice was calm. If you betray us, you will not have time to regret it. Mason looked at Aiden. What did you get yourself into? Aiden swallowed. I think Earth is about to be part of a war. Mason stared, stunned. Then the garage lights flickered. All tools on the wall vibrated. And the radio on Mason's desk turned on by itself. A voice came through, smooth, human, confident. Aiden Cross. Aiden froze. The voice continued. Congratulations. You've just made yourself the most valuable person on this planet. Lyra's eyes narrowed. Traitor. The voice laughed softly. Princess Lyra, so nice to hear you alive. Aiden whispered. Who is that? The voice answered, like it was proud. My name is Director High, and I represent Earth's survival. Aiden snapped. Survival? You're working with them. Hale replied, calm as ice. I'm working with reality. The Dominion fleet is here. We cannot fight it, so we negotiate. Lyra stepped closer to the radio. Her voice sharpened. You offered them a child. Hale didn't deny it. A child? He said lightly. No, a crown, a throne, and a bond we can replicate. Aiden's hands trembled. Hale continued. You will bring her to the old stadium outside town in 1 hour, or your brother dies first. Mason's face went pale. Aiden's blood turned to ice. Lyra stared at Aiden. And for the first time, her voice was soft. This is what I tried to avoid. Aiden whispered, what do we do? Lyra's eyes hardened like a queen. We go, but not to surrender. The drive to the stadium felt like driving into a funeral. Mason drove because Aiden's hands wouldn't stop shaking. Lyra sat in the back seat, silent, too silent. Aiden looked at her through the mirror. Lyra, what's your plan? Lyra didn't answer immediately. Then she said, I need you to trust me. Aiden swallowed. That's hard right now. Lyra's voice was small, but sharp. If you do not, we all die. They reached the stadium. It was abandoned. Rusted seats. Dead grass. Black SUVs formed a circle around the field like wolves. Men in black stood at every entrance, and above the stadium, the clouds were darker than anywhere else, like something huge was directly overhead. Mason whispered, I don't like this. Aiden opened the door. The moment his foot touched the ground, his palm mark burned. Lyra stepped out behind him. Immediately, every black-suited man turned toward them. Aiden felt the veil weaken. Too many eyes. A man stepped forward from the center of the field. Tall, clean suit, calm smile. Director Hawley. He looked human, but his eyes were wrong. Too still, too knowing. He clapped slowly. Well done, Aiden. Aiden shouted, You threatened my brother. Hawley shrugged. Motivation works. Lyra stepped forward. Hale's smile widened. There she is. The universe's little problem. Lyra's voice was cold. You are small. Hawley laughed. And yet, I'm the one holding the knife. He lifted a hand. A device appeared from the suitcase sleek. Alien metal. Aiden recognized it instantly. Dominion Tech. Hawley spoke to Lyra like she was property. Step into the containment ring. Lyra didn't move. Hawley sighed. Then he turned to Aiden, friendly again. You should feel honored. Do you know what you are? Aiden didn't answer. Hawley continued. You are a key. A rare genetic resonance that lets the bond form cleanly. You are extremely useful. Aiden's fists clenched. Hawley gestured to the sky. You've seen the fleet. They're waiting. Aiden's voice shook. Waiting for what? Hawley smiled. For your decision. Lyra's eyes flicked to Aiden. Aiden swallowed. Hale's voice became softer, persuasive. If you give her up, the Dominion will spare your continent. You'll live. Your brother will live. Your town will remain a footnote. Aiden's chest tightened. Then Hawley leaned closer and whispered, And if you refuse, they'll make an example of Earth. Aiden looked at Lyra. She was small beside him, but her posture was royal. Still, she was just a kid. Aiden's voice broke. Lyra, if I surrender you, does it stop the war? Lyra looked at him with sad honesty. No. Aiden blinked. What? Lyra said quietly. They will take me. Then they will take your world anyway. Because you will have proven you kneel. Hawley laughed like Lyra was being dramatic. Cute speech, but wrong. Lyra stared. At Hawley, you do not understand the Dominion. They do not honor deals. They honor power. Aiden felt something deep in his bones. He suddenly realized Hale wasn't negotiating for Earth. He was negotiating for himself. Aiden turned to Hawley. You're doing this for your position. Hawley smiled calmly. I'm doing this so humanity survives under a new order, Aiden whispered, as slaves. Hale's smile didn't change. As citizens of a larger empire. Aiden's mark burned hotter. The air around the stadium vibrated. Lyra stepped close to Aiden and whispered something that made his blood run cold. If you stand with me, the universe must respond. Aiden swallowed. Respond how? Lyra's eyes shimmered with starlight. The bond is a declaration. If the guardian accepts, it becomes a royal claim. And royal claims cannot be ignored. Aiden's voice shook. So if I accept, war becomes official. Lyra nodded slightly. Aiden looked at Mason. Mason's face was pale, but his eyes were steady. Mason said softly, Aiden, If you give her up, they'll come for you next. Aiden breathed in. He looked at Lyra Dot, then at the dark sky, then back at Halle. Aiden raised his marked palm. Hale's smile widened, thinking it was surrender. Aiden spoke clearly. I accept. Lyra's eyes flashed. The mark ignited like a small sun. A shockwave rippled outward. Every SUV alarm screamed. Every black-suited man stumbled. Hale's smile vanished. What did you just do? Lyra's voice rose, no longer childlike. Dot. It sounded layered, like many voices at once. The Guardian has accepted. The claim is active. Above the stadium, the clouds split. A gap opened like a wound in the sky, and through it, a ship descended, not Dominion. Different shape, sleeker, bright silver dot than another, and many. A fleet, Lyra's loyal fleet. Aiden stared, trembling. Lyra whispered to him. They heard me. Director Hollow screamed at his men. Contain them. Now, the ring device on the field activated, projecting a circle of blue light around Lyra. Lyra stepped inside it on purpose. Aiden panicked. Lyra looked back at him, calm. This is the only way. Then she raised both hands. The containment ring shattered like glass. Halle stepped back, terrified now, because Lyra wasn't trapped. She had used it to channel power. Aiden felt. The air pressure changed like gravity. Was listening. Lyra's hair lifted slightly. Her eyes became bright as stars. She pointed at Hall. You invited monsters. Now live with them. Halle shouted, I saved Earth. Lyra answered cold. No. You sold it. A Dominion ship pushed through the cloud gap, huge, dark. Aggressive dot. It didn't descend gently dot. It descended like a threat. A voice boomed across the stadium, shaking the bones of everyone below. Princess Lyra, surrender. Lyra didn't flinch. Aiden stepped forward, shaking, but standing. He raised his marked palm again. The symbol pulsed. The Dominion ship's surface lights flickered just a little, but enough to prove something terrifying. Aiden could touch there. Machines. The Dominion voice paused. Then it spoke again, colder. The Guardian is compatible. Capture him intact. Aiden's stomach turned. Lyra whispered, Now you are my crown. Aiden swallowed. What does that mean? Lyra looked at him with quiet seriousness. A princess without a throne is hunted, but a princess with a guardian can become a queen. The silver loyal ships formed a defensive wall above the stadium. Dominion ships formed the opposite wall. Two skies, two armies. One small town in the middle. Mason grabbed Aiden's shoulder. Aiden, what did you bring to Earth? Aiden couldn't answer, because Lyra stepped in front of him, small, fearless, and she spoke a final sentence that ended the old world and started the new one. This planet is under my protection now. The Dominion fleet reacted instantly. The loyal fleet reacted instantly. The air screamed with engines and energy. And Aiden realized the universe wasn't declaring war because Lyra existed. The universe declared war because Lyra chose him. And he chose her back. Lyra turned to Aiden and whispered, Now we must win, or Earth will be the first kingdom to fall.